But
I'll see it for the dude.
Yeah, the dude's good. And definitely stay for the Chris Hemsworth Lizard King dance.
Okay.
Because that is, as a secure heterosexual male, that's something I could definitely watch all day. He's a fine specimen.
Now, so other than that, I mean, the thing that like I said, I recommend watching it. If you love the show, watch the panel. To my mind, there are no big reveals. You know, everybody's sad about the show ending. They all love working together. They all, everybody feels that Darcy Carden should have been nominated, for the Janet's episode alone.
Well, I mean, she did win an award
from us that she has yet to claim.
I know.
Well, didn't you say something about Carly was just going to go ahead and mail it at this point?
I think so.
Yeah.
I should have followed up with her.
Indeed.
But I've shouted out to her on both the Twitters and the Instas. And maybe we'll do it again, just, now that the show's over and she's got a little less time.
Well, and I'm sure between seasons on Barry and
she's not on Barry very much.
No, she's not on Barry very much.
But
it'll be interesting to see what. Yeah, it's amazing. But it'll be interesting to see what she gets next. Because she's obviously very talented, and they talked about that. Okay, so if I can find that, I want to get to that because talking about the Janet's episode. Let's see if that's...
Easter egg would be if you see us in a scene with Manny, look at
okay, this is the thing I was talking about.
Yeah. Or where our heads... We're mostly not looking at him. Because if we look at him, then we'll laugh. So usually you can tell by the back of our head, you can see a little piece of our cheek because that means we're just looking at the floor.
Also, you'll see the tightness here, which is us holding a smile. And most of us, I think a lot of us get through it, you'll see...
Yes, bite your cheek.
That happened because we're all biting the inside of our...
the worst thing, though, is the face that Manny makes just before he's about to, because he always keeps it secret. He never tells us what he's going to fork us up with. And so he just sits there, and you're unaware of your own face, but he sits there. The take's just about to happen, and he goes... and then you know something horrible is coming, and you're going to ruin the take.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, go for it.
No, I literally have to make myself laugh first, look like a... and then I know something's good is coming up, yeah.
That's,
Kristen, do you remember about 2 weeks ago when at 7 o'clock in the morning, Manny made Ted cry?
Oh, this is the other thing.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was and you tried to pretend that you weren't crying.
Oh, it was the best.
It was the absolute best. That was the, you know what?
Yeah.
Oh, guys.
Oh.
Wait, if you say the word that it was, would that be a spoiler? That he said that made you guys...
I came into work and I got a report that after 1 hour of shooting, they were 1 hour behind schedule. True. And I said, why? And they said Manny said something. Manny's line made everybody laugh. And I said, for an hour? And they were like, yeah. And, if I remember the scene correctly, we won't spoil it, but he had one line.
Yeah.
And it was like 12 words, and it was an hour of everyone going, okay, come on, focus. We can do this. And then they were an hour behind.
And you know what? The truth is that it's funny. It's also really irritating because you or I have had a page and a half monologue that's impossible to memorize, and we're struggling through it, and then Manny goes, boom.
The thing that happened at the end of that, so we tried to regain our composure, and I had a line to Ted, and I looked to Ted to say the line, and you were weeping, and I just stopped, and the director, Rebecca Asher, said, Mark, why have you stopped? And I said, because Ted is crying. And Ted did this. Ted goes, no, I'm not, I'm fine. And he looked at me and he goes, I'm not on camera. And Rebecca goes, Ted, we have you in the wide. And he goes,
That's great.
Anyway, Drew, what was it like having directed the pilot and now, getting to where we are? Are there surprises? Are there things that you wouldn't have been able to anticipate about the evolution of the show from the beginning?
I mean, the truth is the show has always been there with Mike. When Mike first pitched the series, the core of it has always been the same. And even then you told me it had an expiration date and we would only do a few seasons. And I have spent the last 4 years trying to talk you out of that. And I've failed terribly. I'm sorry to all of you because it is my fault. Yeah. But no, the show's always been there. I mean, it evolves. This cast continues to transcend every single year. You just reach new heights, and it's a joy. But it's always been the same show at its core.
Pretty great show. I want to talk a little bit about directing and about the culture of the show. Mike, in this final season, season 4, there are some interesting new directors.
Okay. They talk about
that got the nod.
Because they talk about how they work with their own people, and so like one of the people directing was an AD, so they got the bump up, and then somebody who was I believe a continuity editor or something, she got the nod to go ahead and direct, and so it's pretty cool. They look to their bullpen basically and give people a shot.
Okay.
And yeah, that's pretty cool. I want to see if I can get. I should have taken a note on the time, but getting to.
Well, I mean, you just watched this morning.
Shut up! I watched it. So
Those went too well.
Yeah, I mean, we moved scenes up from the next day into the day. I'm just worried. I'm just worried that word's going to get out.
I'm going to get in trouble because I'm too fast of a director. That's what I kept saying all week. Because having a director who's decisive was always my favorite thing. And so when I was given this opportunity, I was like, all you got to do is know your decisions. You got to come in prepared. And I feel like I did, and I had so much fun directing all of you. I mean, I already feel like I'm pretty bossy around you guys. Like I'm already... I lean in a lot, and I'm not going to apologize for it. No. And I had fun wearing the actual hat, where instead of just ignoring me, you guys had to listen.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
It was fun. You did a very sweet thing where you huddled us beforehand on the first day and just said, like, if I'm not giving you something that you're after, don't let our familiarity get in the way. Or
right.
Yeah. Don't. Yes, that was very important to me because when you're switching jobs, again, I've never done it before, so I would imagine that if things are crossing over because of friendships or we're peers, and then now I have this weird little bit of control, I didn't want to let anything get in the way, so I just said very candidly, if I'm not giving you something that you need and you get something from other directors, please let me know, and I hope that I adjusted accordingly.
You gave us what we needed.
So quickly.
Thanks, girl.
Darcy Carden, the episode Janet's.
This is what I was trying to get to. Yeah.
That's all. That was it.
That's fine.
This is kind of a spoiler.
Writing.
Yes.
Shit.
Giant
We're going to get to
oversight,
talking about it this year.
for
Though.
acting.
No.
Pretty sad. It's not that much of a spoiler.
I don't think so.
Josh Siegel and Dylan Morgan wrote that episode, and Morgan Sackett directed that episode, and it was such a collaborative experience, including with my castmates who, you didn't see them much in the episode, but they were there and helpful. It was amazing.
May I ask you one specific question?
Yes.
You said that various cast members, obviously they performed their performance and you recorded it and that sort of thing. You said that Will typed out his lines the way.
Right.
Do you do that for yourself every episode, Will?
When I get a particularly dense piece of text, I stack the language. So I basically take an idea. I take the idea and put it on one line, take the next idea, put it on that line, just so I can get through it as a sort of narrative piece rather than just jamming the words in. And I don't know if it helped.
It helped.
Oh, good.
Because Janet doesn't usually have long speeches like that, and Chidi does, and it is hard to memorize, and it helped me so much. Everybody gave me a little something like that in a secretive little way without even talking to each other.
I just gave you cake.
You gave me donuts, and it was great. That's great. That's a great thing to give someone.
To fuel her.
Yeah. And it was really, just like everything else on the show, it was incredibly positive and collaborative and, truly one of the best experiences of my life. So, and I'm
Cool.
I'm
sorry. I know you're not supposed to talk about stuff like this, but imagine that your job is to make a list of the best supporting actress performances on television, and then imagine you watch that episode, and then imagine you think, yeah, just not top 5. Imagine that. Imagine how crazy a human being you would have to be to not.
That's what I was
I don't
thinking.
get it, man.
Yeah.
I know. Look, art is subjective, and to each his or her own. I understand it. I will never understand Darcy Carden not getting nominated for an Emmy for that performance.
Yeah, he.
So I wonder if
we are nearing the end of our time together. It's time now for your questions. Line up however it needs to be done. And again, please keep your questions brief. Yes, please begin.
Hey, Janet.
Hey, Janet.
This was really cool. So you have
Oh my God, yes.
we have a bad Janet, a neutral Janet, and then Janet.
Okay, let's.
Darcy Carden should be Emmy nominated. Darcy Carden. That is a factual statement. Could you please describe the experience of playing Janet as Eleanor, and Eleanor playing Janet, playing you, and all the layers of Janet? That is the question.
There you
Hello, sisters.
We are sisters.
Oh, cool. I know, we are sisters. That's why I said it. I will just say, I don't really know how to describe it other than, I'll just say, I have lived with these actors and I've lived with these characters for so long, and I'm such a gigantic fan of the show that it wasn't as hard. It just was, I don't know how to describe it. I don't.
How to
but
what?
I do know.
You don't know how to what?
I don't know how to, but I know that Mark told me that he thought I didn't do a very good job in that part. Will you say that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Will you tell?
It's a compliment. Hang on. I was watching the episode and when it aired the first time, and just marveling at how it wasn't like you were impersonating the cast. It really felt like you were becoming the cast. And then there was just one thing where you were doing Jason, and it was like, oh, it's not a great Jason. And I was like, wait, that's not Jason. That's Eleanor pretending to be Jason. And it was perfect.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. That means there's a couple like ways to know if it worked, and that's one way. And another way that I found out that episode worked is after the episode aired, Kristen called me and said, I'm going to say something embarrassing, but she said, I'm so proud of you, I feel like my milk's coming in. So then I was like, okay, good. I guess it worked. It's hard to tell for me, but I guess that means it worked. So that was great. So anyway.
The highest compliment.
Yeah.
And
Thank you, sisters.
Another way she would know it would work is because she was given an award by Four Dinguses in Arizona.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's plenty.
Yeah.
So a nice tight hour turned into a medium tight hour, 30 minutes. But
it's better than
We've gone over 2 hours before, well over 2 hours. So I think that's